Ladies and gentlemen, a very, very big welcome to Lecture 9, where I'm going to be talking about Chapter 13, which is really about progress and performance measurement and evaluation. It's a very important chapter because it's the final calculations chapter that I'm going to be discussing for this subject in this semester. And it's basically about ensuring that knowing those calculations will help you to go and do well in your exam. So I please encourage you to go and make sure you focus a lot today and make sure you do the calculations that I'm going to tell you to go and do as part of your tutorial. If any of your team members are not here today, can I very kindly ask you to go and please message them. Tell them that this calculation is related to your final exam and make sure they are coming. It will take you a second, but it will make a big difference. So please, please make sure you message your fellow students. We're going to talk about the 4 steps for controlling a project. We're going to talk about utilizing a tracking Gantt to be able to monitor time performance. We're going to understand and appreciate the importance of earned value management. We're going to calculate and interpret cost and schedule variances. We're going to calculate and interpret performance and percent indexes. And we're going to go and forecast final project costs. And we're going to go and identify and manage scope creep. So it is obviously very important topics that I need to make sure you guys will know today. What we need to know, guys, is creating a project monitoring system is a very, very important system. Why it's an important system? Because it's going to go and allow me to go and track how the project is really progressing. It's going to allow me to go and take action if anything is actually not working according to go into the plan that we would like it to go and work on. So it's basically allowing us to go and think about a number of things. We need to think about what data do we need to go and collect to be able to go and manage progress. We need to go and ask, how will the data really be collected? We're going to ask about when will the data collected. We're going to need to ask about who is going to be collecting the data. We're going to have to go and ask, how are we going to be reporting the data at any particular progress of time? So we need to think about all of this information to be able to understand how we are going and actually progressing in terms of the work we go and really do. We talk about the project control process. Control is where I want to go and compare how am I actually performing against a plan that I went and actually have created. I go and I create a plan, and once I have a plan, I have to go and monitor how am I going and how am I progressing in relation to that plan. So comparing that plan, comparing the actual performance against my plan at any point of time. If I am, let's say, performing, if I'm spending more money than what I'm expected to go and spend, I need to know that information. The reason why I need to know is because I need to go and conduct and take the corrective actions that are needed to be able to go and get the job done. If there's any problem, I need to create deviations. I need to go and actually try to rectify any issues with deviation. I need to go and evaluate why are we actually deviating away from the plan. I need to go and make any corrective action that is needed if things are not actually working according to the plan. So we need to go and try to control the system. We need to control how we are performing. And the way we are going to be controlling is we need to go and create what is known as a baseline plan. And the baseline plan is about a plan of when things are expected to be completed and how much are things going to cost me when they are going to be completed. So what is supposed to be finishing in day 1 and how much is it supposed to cost me? Then you're going to start making, for example, measuring progress and performance. I was supposed to finish task A in day 1. And I was supposed to have it cost me $1,000. I haven't finished the task A, so I'm basically behind schedule. It is now costing me more money because it's going to take longer time for us to go and actually be completed and be improved. So all of these basically show that I am going to be having an issue in relation to that particular task that we're trying to go and do. So setting a baseline plan, measuring progress and performance, we're going to go and compare the plan against the actual. So after I measurement, I can go and make the comparison that is needed. And from there, I'll be able to go and take the actions that are needed to be able to go and rectify any deviation in terms of the progress that we need to go and really have. Now, there are so many tools we can do to be able to go and monitor performance. One very, very obvious tool we use is called the Gantt chart. Gantt chart is like a graphical interface that shows you when a task was supposed to be completed, and shows you, shows you how you, like when it was supposed to be completed, and shows you when it's actually being completed. So what this Gantt chart do is that it gives you that visual. You can see visually, am I ahead of schedule? Am I behind schedule? And all of this will be very clear for you to be available. There's obviously other ways. For example, there's a control chart, which is just to plot the difference between the scheduled and the actual times on the critical path. So you might say, okay, you may have a graph saying, okay, I was supposed to finish it in day 1, it finished in day 3. You start comparing them. I don't see it used very often, comparing to the Gantt chart, but it is an approach that people could actually go and try to use. There's a milestone, trying to go and figure out how we actually progressing in terms of getting the job done, significant events that mark the accomplishment of the actual project. So we go and monitor all of these major milestones, and we'll try to see how we are actually progressing in terms of actually meeting the goals. So have we delivered the main milestones? Have we delivered all of these main events that are relating to my project? This is an example of a Gantt chart. The baseline Gantt chart looks like this. I should finish A in this time, and B in this time, and C in this time, and all of this. You kind of basically have all of that information on a chart. But a tracking Gantt chart have a second line. It tracks how are we actually progressing. A was supposed to be finishing in day 2. It actually finished in day 2. B, same. C was supposed to finish in day 5. It's actually finishing in day 6, which mean that some activities need to be pushed. For example, this activity has to now be pushed. It can't actually, if it's starting here, it's going to have to go and finish later. It's going to finish after the normal time. So you see how things start building push. This was supposed to start here and finish here, but now it's going to go and be pushed. It's going to go and finish in day 13. So it just basically tracks your progress. Am I on track or behind track? And based on that tracking, it basically goes and pushes your timelines on when things go and when the project is supposed to go and be completed. So earned value management, my friends, is a method that combines an understanding of the scope, what are we supposed to go and deliver, with the schedule, when are we supposed to go and be delivering those, with the resource measurement to assess the project performance and progress. Are we performing and getting things done on time, or are we not getting things done on time? Are we late or are we not late? Are we on schedule or are we behind schedule? Are we on budget or are we behind budget? We go and make all of these various measurements. Now, to be able to make all of those measurements, this method uses a number of acronyms, and I'm going to go and discuss all of these acronyms with you. But what it simply does, it basically goes and compares when tasks are supposed to be completed and how much are they supposed to go and cost me, and when are they actually completed and how much have they actually went and have they cost me. So they basically give us some information about the work we need to go and actually do. So everything starts by having what we call a time phase cost and time phase budget. So we need to have a baseline, and we need to know on this baseline, at this time, what should I have finished and at what cost? At this time, what should I have finished at what cost? Every period, you need to know what were you supposed to finish and at what cost. The cost, we need to measure the cost variance, and we need to measure the actual schedule variance. But to be able to do any of this, we need to understand what were we planned to finish at any point of time. I was planned to finish, let's say, 2 days worth of work, but I've only finished 1. I am obviously behind schedule. So we try to make that, and we try to get a comparison in relation to how I'm performing comparing to how I should really be performing. So these are some of the things we need to know about: the earned value, the planned value, the actual cost, the cost variance, the schedule variance, the budgeted at completion, the estimated at completion, the estimated to complete, and also we talk about the variances, cost variance at completion. So obviously there's another we need to go and really think about from that perspective. So let's start thinking about the earned value. Earned value for the task is a budgeted value of the work completed. Okay, so how, in other words, how much value of work have I earned? I earned 25% worth of work. Yeah, how much value have you earned? I've earned $200 worth of work. That's the work you've actually completed. A work that is completed is the work that has already now been earned. So how much have I earned is one of the concepts I need to go and actually think about.
Sir, sorry to interrupt. Is it like the percentage of amount of work or task I have completed based on 100%?
It doesn't have to be through a percentage measurement. It could be as a measure of $1. So usually it's a measure of $1. So let's say I was supposed to earn, so let's say I gave you task A, and that task A is supposed to cost me $100. I'll say I'm planned to earn $100 worth of work. In other words, I am planning to finish $100 worth of work. What I have earned is the work that I have completed. In other words, have I completed $100 worth of work? If the answer is yes, great. So I have earned $100 worth of work. It does not have to be simply a percentage. It's more like a dollar value. How much worth of work have I actually completed? Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay. So how much work have I earned? Now, anytime you want to know how much work you've earned, you need to compare it to what were you planning to earn. I was planning to earn $200 worth of work, but I only earn 100. What does that mean? That means I am behind schedule. Because anytime you compare earned value to planned value, it is comparing costing. So I earned 100. I was planned to earn 200. I am behind schedule. I earned 100. Okay, great. It cost me 200. That means I am behind budget. So everything you do, you compare your earned value, how much I've earned, comparing to how much I was planned to earn, which give you what we call the schedule variance. And you compare what you've earned to how much it actually cost you, which give you what we call the cost variance. So you need to compare, am I positive or negative in terms of the cost variance? And am I positive or negative in terms of the schedule variance? If I'm earning less than when I'm spending, obviously I am behind budget. If I'm earning less than what I'm planned to earn, then obviously I am behind schedule. So the plan is what am I planned to complete at any particular point of time. The actual cost is how much are things actually costing me. The cost variance is a comparison between what I've earned minus the actual cost. The schedule variance is what comparison of what I've earned comparison to my planned, what I was planning to earn at that point of time. Budgeted at completion, how much is the project supposed to cost me at the end of the project? Estimated at completion, how much a project is estimated to go and cost me at the end of a project. So that's especially valuable when the project is not going according to plan. Estimated at completion would go and actually increase. Estimated to complete is how much more money, or estimated cost to complete remaining work. So how much more money do I need to be able to go and really complete the work? Variances at completion is really the difference between what I was actually budgeted to complete and what I'm actually estimated to complete. So any new estimation that is beyond what I was actually budgeted to actually go and cost me is something that is going to cost me more money to be able to go and really do. So let's now start thinking about how do we apply all of these calculations, because obviously that's something you need to go and be doing for your final exam most likely. So make sure you pay attention. But first of all, let's go and think about all of these systems. How does a system of earned value management comparison work? The first thing is you need to create a work breakdown structure, which is what you need to do for your assignment. Let me get a scope. Let me think about the work package. Let me think about any deliverables. Let me think about the organizational units involved. Let me think about any resources. Let me think about the budget for each work package. We have to go and do all of this information to understand that basic things that are important. Second thing we need to do, we need to go and create an understanding of the scheduled resources to activities. So when am I going to be using and needing any particular resource? The reason why you need to know when you are going to be using any particular resource, because I will only incur a cost on that task when I'm using that resource to be able to go and get that task done. Before I go and use that resource, the task hasn't actually costed me any particular money. I need to go and know the time phase work package into the network. So the time phase, in every period, in every time period, what am I supposed to go and be doing at that period of time? When I know what I'm supposed to go and be doing at any particular point of time, I can develop what is known as a time phase budget. What is a time phase budget? A time phase budget is about knowing what am I supposed to be spending at any particular point of time. How much money am I supposed to go and really be spending at any particular point of time? So you think about it from that perspective and you make it accordingly. So planned value. At the work package level, we collect the actual cost of the work. How much did the work cost me in comparison to how much I actually have earned? I need to make that potential comparison, which is really that point number 5. Compare your earned value to your planned value in 3. Compare your earned value to your actual cost in point number 4. So if I go and say, all right, this line is about my earned value, this line is my planned value, this one is my actual cost. Look at today, if I have earned $200 worth of work and I paid, this is the plan, and I was planned to complete $300 worth of work, then I am obviously behind schedule. If I earned $200 worth of work and it actually cost me $340, then I am obviously doing behind budget. Okay, I'm basically over budget. I'm spending more money than I'm required. So you always compare your planned value to your your earned value to your planned value, which give you the scheduled variance, and you always compare your earned value to your actual costs, which give you the cost variance, and you make these comparisons accordingly. So if you look at
sorry,
this,
sir, can you please come up again?
Okay, well let me show you in this example here. Okay, I'm earning that much work. I was planning to finish much more work. So I earned, let's say, $10. I was planned to earn $20. When you compare earned to planned, this tells you earned value minus planned value give you what we call the schedule variance. So in terms of schedule, because I am earning less money than when I'm planned to earn, I am negative, so I am behind schedule. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir, yeah.
And if I earned that much work, but I paid much more money to earn that work, then again, my cost variance is negative, so I am behind I am over budget. Does that make sense?
Sure, sir. Sure. Yeah.
Okay. If I earned that much work and it cost me that much, am I over budget or under budget? If I earn that
Under
much,
budget.
under budget.
Under budget.
If I earn that much and I was planned to earn that much, am I ahead of schedule or behind schedule?
Ahead of schedule.
Ahead of schedule, because it's positive. Earned value minus planned value is positive. So I am ahead of schedule. If I have earned that much and I was planned to earn that much, okay, am I ahead of schedule or behind schedule?
Behind.
I earned more than what I was planned to earn. Is that behind?
Ahead for sure.
Ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
If I earn that much, but it cost me that much, am I ahead, over budget or under budget?
So over budget, sir.
I'm over budget. If I've earned that much, but it cost me that much, am I over budget or under budget?
So under budget.
And if I earn that much, but I was planned to earn that much,
So it's behind, sir.
I am behind because I've basically earned less than I was actually planned to earn. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. 100%.
Okay, so that's exactly the thinking you need to be able to go and really understand. That's really the most important things we need to go and really bear in mind in this particular chapter. It's all about this chapter, thinking about all of these calculations. Now, let's look at this example. Okay, we have here various activities, A, B, C, D, E, and F. We have an amount of money. We are planning that activity A will cost me $20 or whatever it is, $2,000 or whatever. B is going to cost me 15. C is going to cost me 100. D is going to cost me 35. E is going to cost me 120. And F is going to cost me $30. So that's what we really know. Now, I need to go and think about how much I'm supposed to be earning at any particular point of time. So you can see here, the total planned cost or planned value, if you want, of this particular activity is $20. Okay, great. So we understand that. Now, I am supposed to earn $10 in period 1 and $10 in period 2. What does that mean? That means, very simple thing. That means I am supposed to earn 50% of the work in period 1 and 50% of the work in period 2. Activity B. Overall, it's going to cost me 15. I'm planning I'm going to basically earn $5 worth of it. So I'm going to earn 33% of the work in period 2 to 3. And I'm going to earn the remaining 66.6% of the work in period number 3 to 4. Same thing, C, D, E, and F. So this one is what it is planned to cost me. And this one is when am I supposed to be earning any particular amount of work. So this is basically how much work I'm going to be doing for activity C between 2 and 3. I'm going to be doing $20 worth of work between 2 and 3. I'm going to be doing $30 worth of work between 3 and 4, and so on. So you need to know what is the whole planned cost for the whole activity and how much you're going to be earning in terms of that cost at any particular period of time. So 30, 30, 60, 80, 100. It's equal to the 100. So your plan and what you're earning is basically supposed to go and be matching in this particular example. You notice here, my planned value for period 1 is 10. My cumulative total is 10. My planned value for period 2 is 10, but my cumulative is 10 plus 10 is 20. What about here? 20, 25, 35, 40. That's 40. 40 plus 20 is 60. What about here? 30, 40, 50. 50 plus 60 is 110. What about here? 30 plus 10 is 40, plus 110 is 150. And you add it together and together and together until you go and get to the final figure of how much something is really going to cost you. Now, look at this example. We're going to basically make the comparison. Look at period 1. Guys, how much is period 1? How much is activity 1 supposed to cost me? The overall, how much is the planned value for the whole activity A? What's the planned value for A? $20. How much am I supposed to earn in period 1?
10.
10. So you can see my earned value is 10. Why? Because I'm earning 50% of the work. So I'm earning 50% of what is planned, of 20, which means I am earning, I'm earning $10. Now, what am I planning to earn? Well, I'm planning to earn $10. Okay, great. What's the cost? It's going to cost me $10. Great. So let's compare cost variance. Cost variance is earned value minus actual cost. So I earn 10 minus 10 equals 0. Schedule variance. I earn 10 minus 10 equals 0. So my cost variance is 0. My schedule variance is 0. So am I ahead of schedule or behind schedule?
But so one confusion. My plan value was like 20, but total task was 20. Wasn't that the plan value?
Okay. The planned value, okay, the planned value for both periods. So this is, if you want, this is what I'm planning here. This is, I'm planning to spend 10 and 10. I'm planning to spend 5 and 10. But my earning is how much I've actually earned as a percentage of work. So think about it as this is what gets saved at the beginning in the first period. You basically know when you save your plan, you know how much you're planning to complete at any point of time. And when you start doing the job, this is where you know how much you've actually earned to be able to decide how much your actual earned value is. So initially, all of these figures that you see here are your actual plan value. What you're supposed to be planning when you save the plan, how much are you plan to be basically finishing at any period of time. So all of these are
the initial, sorry.
Go on.
Yeah. So initially, so all the plan value and how do you say plan value and earned value will be same, isn't it?
Well, no. Okay, look here. When you create your plan and you finish the plan, you save what is known as a baseline. Can you see this? This is a baseline.
Yes.
The baseline will tell you at each period of time how much money you're supposed to be spending, which is how much you're planning to spend to finish the job. So this total plan value is really an addition of I am planning to spend $10 in period 1 and $10 in period 2. That's 20. I'm planning to finish 5 and 10. That's 15. I'm planning to finish all of these. This is a plan. So this is when I finish planning and save my baseline, I know what is my plan value for the whole tasks to be completed. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
When you start doing the job, you start looking at task A. Say, okay, I completed today 50% of task A. So you double click on the task and you say 50% complete. So 50% out of what? 50% out of your plan. That's how you know how much you've earned. 50% out of what I was planned to go and complete. So if you see here, 50% I finished, that's been 50% of 20. So I finished 10 worth of work. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yes, sir.
And the plan, I already know it's planned to finish 10. I already know that. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Period 2, what am I planning to finish?
10.
Okay, well, not, if you think about it, it's not a 10 because period 2 is 10 plus 10. It's an accumulation.
Okay,
Can't forget about that because the cost is calculating. So I finished activity 1, A. Okay, you finished it. So 100% complete. So I have finished $20 worth of work. Make sense? I earned 20 because
Yeah.
I finished 100%. I finished it. So 100% of this task is finished. So how much I have earned? I have earned the whole $20 now. So when I finish it all, I've earned 20. What's it cost me? It cost me 30. What was planned? I was planned to finish 10 plus 10 is 20. Can you see that? Do you understand that, guys?
So
Sorry.
why is cost 30?
Okay, don't worry about the cost. The cost is basically comparing in practice how much did the task actually cost you to go and complete. So you might in practice have spent more resources doing the job to actually finish it in 2 days. So I might have used more people, and because of that, it cost me more money. I might have used more materials, and because of that, it cost me more money. But in practice, you would know how much it costs you because you know how many resources you're allocating for that particular task. So you're not calculating the cost in any of your examples. You're simply trying to basically see the planned value versus earned value, and you're trying to see how are you progressing in terms of cost or in terms of schedule. This costing would usually be given to you either way. In practice, a task could actually go and take longer simply because you might be assigning more people for that task. Does that make sense?
Yeah, clear.
Okay, so if I said I have done, if I say I have finished activity A, guys, could you just do me a favor? Could you take a picture of this slide? Because I want you to go and refer to it when I'm going to go and ask you questions. Okay, I'm going to ask you questions now about it. I want you to make sure you're going to answer me. Okay, so let's go. Now, in period 3, if I say I finished activity A, how much have I earned? Look at the graph. Don't worry about what's in front of you. Just look at the picture you took. Just look at this. Look at the picture you've taken for this and answer me based on that one. Don't look at the screen. Don't give me the, the answer based on the screen. If I finish...
Sorry. Can you ask again?
Did you take a picture of this slide?
Yes.
Perfect. So I'm going to ask you. I'm going to go and have to report on period 3. If I say I have finished all of A, how much have I earned of A?
20.
And how much was I planned to earn of A?
20.
Okay. If I said I finished 33% of B, how much have I earned?
25.
No, I'm talking about activity B now. Activity B, the total planned value is 15. If I say I earned 33% of activity B, how much have I earned?
5.
$5. If I say I've earned 20% of activity C, how much have I earned?
20.
20. If I say I earned 60% of activity D, how much have I earned?
25.
60% of 35, not 35.
No,
The overall,
25.
21. It's 21. 60% of 35 is actually 21. Okay?
Oh.
So you look at this slide. You look at this slide. I earned 25, 20, and 21. This is the actual costing. Now let's look at the graph that you took a picture for. If you look at the graph that you took a picture for, your planned value for activity A, if you look at how much you would have spent by period 3, you can see if you count everything in activity A, you can see 10 plus 10 is 20. If you go to activity B, what are you planning to spend between period 2 and period 3? Look at the graph you take a picture for.
5.
5. What about for activity C?
20.
What about for activity D?
15.
15. And that's where you got all of your figures for the planned value. All of these figures for the planned value is 5, 20, 15. And this one here is 10 plus 10 is 20. So by period 3, I've already planned to spend 20. I spent to spend 5 of B. I've planned to spend 20 of C. I've planned to spend 15 of D. And we've already went and made the calculation of what I have earned. And you guys gave me those figures. Then you do cost variance. Earned value minus cost, 20 minus 30. Earned value minus planned value, schedule variance, 0. 5 minus 10, minus 5. 5 minus 5, 0. 20 minus 30, minus 10. 20 minus 10, 20, 0. 21 minus 20, plus 1. 21 minus 15, plus 6. Overall, what does this tell me? Minus 24. Am I ahead of schedule? And am I under budget or over budget? What does this tell me? Am I over budget or under budget?
So over budget.
I'm over budget. Okay, great. What about here? What does this tell me?
SB is like it's a bit ahead of the.
Ahead of what? Ahead of? What does schedule variance compares?
Yeah. Schedule, ahead of schedule.
Ahead of schedule. Okay, now do not look at the screen again. Just answer my questions, okay? Actually, before you do that, yes?
So if it's negative, it's over budget?
Over budget.
So that means they budgeted too much?
No, that's mean we spent, we've earned,
over budget.
We spent
more
more
than
money and earned less. We earned less work than how much money we spent.
Oh, okay.
Make sense?
Okay, yeah, and positive is under budget.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
No worries. Now let me go. I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to go and compare period 4. Guys, period 4, how much I'm planned to have earned in period 4 for A?
20.
Okay, for B?
15.
For C?
50.
13, 20, 50. For D?
25.
Okay, so we now know that 20, 15, 50, and 25. So that's your planned value for period number 4. We know that. Do not look at the screen. Just answer my questions now based on the picture you took. Okay? So look at the picture you took and then answer my question. If I have finished all activity A, how much have I earned?
20.
20.
If I have finished all of activity B, how much have I earned?
5.
20 plus 15. That should be.
Hold on. We're talking about activity B only.
Just 15?
15. I've
15,
earned all B, it's 15. If I earned 50% of C, how much have I earned?
50?
50, correct, because the overall is 100. If I earned 80% of D, how much have I earned?
28.
28, that's correct. So look at the screen now. You can see these are the figures you gave me. And you can see these are the figures of the planned value we've discussed. The only thing that is left is earned value minus cost equal minus 10. Earned value minus plan, give me a 0. Earned minus earned minus earned minus earned minus. We get all of these totals and then we know we are behind schedule, over budget and ahead of schedule. So that's exactly, yeah.
Is it like the percentage will give us, or we need to divide the percentage?
You would usually be given the percentage and you would usually be given the actual costing, but you will have so many exercises to go and actually practice this, and we will do that very, very shortly. I'll speak to you about that very shortly, okay? So you will practice all of this, but the same thing we do for period 5, period 6, period 7. So exactly the same thing. You look here, period 5. How much have I supposed to spend? Period 6, period 7. And then you make the comparison in relation to how much work have I finished, how much work has I finished, how much work will I finish. And
Sorry again, sir. Sorry, sir. I'm just a bit confused about like how to calculate the actual one. I forgot.
The actual cost, as I said, you don't calculate it. You don't have to do that for any of the exercises. You do not calculate actual cost. In practice, the system calculates the actual cost. How does it calculate it? It calculates it by basically seeing how many people work on a task and how many resources were assigned to the task. So when you're working on a task in practice, you might give it more people, you might give it more time, you might give it more resources. And that's basically how the system calculates how much something is going to actually cost you. You're not calculating any of that in any of those exercises.
So it will be given in the question paper.
It will be given for you. You probably will need to basically calculate the plan and the earned value and all of these other calculations.
Okay, sir. Yeah.
Make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, I have around 10 minutes left, so I'm going to have to go a bit quicker on the remaining. The most important thing to know is the calculation, and we start talking about what does they mean in more practice very shortly. But guys, there's same as you are comparing earned value to actual cost and earned value to planned value by doing earned minus, there's another way you can calculate the comparison by creating an index. So if you want to see if you're going to go and see whether you are, let's say, over budget or under budget, you can make earned value divided by cost. If you want to know whether you are ahead of schedule, you can do earned value divided by my planned value. Okay, so this, instead of giving you a number like this, it will give you an index over 1. If it's under 1, that's mean it's bad. If it's over 1, that's mean it's good. So this is another way of calculating and checking how you are progressing by calculating, you know, CPI, for example, is earned value divided by actual cost. For example, a CPI of 0.7 mean we have finished 0.7 worth of work for every dollar we've actually spent. So for every dollar I'm finishing, I'm only doing $0.7 worth of work. I am over budget in terms of my cost. Schedule variance is earned value divided by planned value. So not earned value minus plan, it's earned value divided by plan. That's another formula. So earned value divided by plan is SPI. In this example, let's say 0.8. That's mean $0.8 worth of work has been completed for each $1 of the work I was scheduled to go and really complete. Project percentage complete index, you know, percentage complete index, budget cost. So percentage complete in this index's budget cost is basically how much of the actual budget have I actually go and spend and completed the work at that particular point of time. Percentage complete index to actual cost, how much a percentage of work I have complete, but I'm not comparing my budgeted costs, I'm comparing my actual costs. So how much things are actually costing me in practice. Management reserve index is cost variance divided by management reserve. It's really more about thinking about how much money of the actual extra reserves has been absorbed by cost overruns. How much of my budget reserve have I actually spent? So if I have a project, I might say I have, let's say, $10 worth of reserve or $10,000 worth of reserve. If I'm over budget, I have to go and use that reserve. So I go and say, all right, how much out of that reserve have I actually went and used at that particular point of time? Now, how do we go and earn work? There are 3 rules we choose to go and earn work. One of them is a 100% rule. What does that mean? It assumes that 100% of the budget is actually earned when the work is completed. So we don't earn anything, we only earn it when we go and complete the whole work. Another way, there's a 50-50 rule, which means when I start the work, I earn 50% of the work. When I finish the work, I earn the other 50% of the work. The third method says what we call percentage complete with weighted monitoring grades. What it basically means is we use a subjective estimate percentage complete in combination with a hard monitoring point. So we would say, let's say period 1 you would say, okay, I believe I finished 30% worth of work. So you basically make your estimation based on that subjective estimate to how much work you've actually went and you completed. There are other things we go and usually try to measure. For example, there's something called revised estimate cost at completion. So let's say if something was estimated to cost me let's say $10,000, and now we've introduced some changes, and the budget is basically going to go and cost me an extra $10,000. We calculate what is known as an estimated at completion revised estimate, because we are revising the new costing according to all of these changes that went and actually occurred. Forecasted total cost at completion. Sometimes I might have basically created an estimation that something is going to cost me $10,000, and I don't need to revise it, but I'm going to just forecast it, not because we've added more work, but just simply because we haven't done the job well. We are forecasting that something is going to go and cost me much more money now. So we create an estimated at completion forecasting to be able to go and know the forecast cost of the actual work that we want to go and do. So this is the sort of formulas we're going to be using here. Estimated at completion, revise is actual costs plus estimated to complete revision. So actual cost is how much money have we actually paid to actually go and complete something. Estimated to complete revise is my revised cost estimate to complete the remaining work. So I believe there's extra work. It's going to now cost me, instead of 10,000, it's going to cost me 15,000. That is my estimated to complete revise plus any money I've already spent at any particular point of time. Forecasted total cost at completion is estimated to complete, how much more money I need to go and spend to complete the work, plus how much money I've already spent on that work itself. So there's obviously a lot of formulas and sub-formulas. So you need to think about work remaining divided by cost performance index. There's a number of ways, there's a number of formulas, and it's about basically using the right formula when you are actually being asked the right question. Now, the beauty about this is a lot of these calculations you do not need to go and do yourself in real life, because there are things that are available on the system, and the system do all of these things themselves. But in the calculations, I would usually not give you very complicated calculations. I expect you to understand the concept, and from there, we'll be able to go and try to make sure you can apply it and show me your understanding as part of the right calculations. To complete performance index, it's basically used as a supplement to the estimation at completion forecast we have. It measures the amount of value each remaining dollar in the budget must earn to stay on budget. So for the remaining work, you might say, okay, for the remaining work, for every dollar I'm spending, I have to earn $2 worth of work. So that's mean I need to work so hard to earn double the amount of work for every dollar I'm spending. Or you might have a ratio index under 1, which means, let's say, for every dollar I'm spending, I need to go and finish, let's say, $0.5 worth of work. Oh, great, that's awesome. That's mean we've been working so hard on the project, and we've been basically performing really, really well. So that's really great to go and see. This is some calculations. You go and see, for example, we say, okay, schedule variance minus 22,000. So I am behind schedule. Cost variance, I am, again, obviously I am behind over budget. Budget at completion, that was how it's supposed to go and cost me. Estimated at completion, well, it's supposed to go and cost me more money than what we were expected. Variances, that's how much money more, sorry, budget at completion, estimated at completion. So my estimate versus a budget, it's basically cost me much more money. And my estimated at completion forecast, what I'm forecasting the project is going to cost me, I'm forecasting it's going to cost me more than what is actually estimated it's going to cost me. CPI, PCIB, PCIC, there's all of these various figures. Please, spend time reading this understanding all of these concepts, because you're going to have to go and do make all of these calculations. So that's why we need to know all of these various things that we're explaining here, all of these indexes, all of these various stuff to be able to make the right calculation. So I give you usually this data, and I expect you to go and analyze this data and analyze what it actually means. Many other issues we need to control. You know, technical performance measurement is as important as measuring the schedule performance and cost performance. We need to know, are we performing well? Are we delivering the technical things that are needed, or are we not? Is there any scope creep? Because, you know, when people keep on asking for more and more changes, there's going to be all of these extra things that are going to go and cost me. Baseline changes should be allowed if people need more things, because the project will be successful and will deliver value to the business when we do all of these new things. Then we should definitely go and make sure we are doing really what is needed. We need to bear in mind that to be able to collect the data and measure our progress, this is something that is going to go and take us a lot of time and take us a lot of budget. So it's very, very important to really go and bear all of these things in mind. Now, as I said earlier, you're going to compare everything. When you save your project, you might be having, let's say, you know, a baseline. You would say, okay, my project is supposed to cost me that much. If you reduce work or if you increase work, your baseline might change. Your costing might increase, or your costing might decrease. And if you go and reduce work, you need to save a new baseline. If you increase work, you need to go and save a new baseline, because you need to compare the right costings at any point of time. If you don't compare the right costings, you won't really get the right outcome. At any point of time, it's very important we go and communicate with the right people. It's very important we go and communicate what is happening. So bear that in mind, guys, and always make sure you know who you need to communicate with and what you need to go and communicate to. You need to know how we're going to communicate it, who's going to be responsible for communicating, who's going to receive all of these items. These are things that are crucial for us to go and complete to get the right outcomes delivered and to get the right monitoring to go and ensure people are informed about any progress of what is really happening. Ladies and gentlemen, do you have any questions at all?
So simple questions, like there are lots of calculations and heaps of, what do you say, laws. And is it like when we'll be sitting in the examinations, can we just write all these laws in the paper?
You're going to need to only answer whatever I ask you. So if I ask you about schedule variance, cost variance, PCIB, whatever I ask you about, that's the only thing you need to go and answer. You don't need to answer anything else other than what I ask you.
Okay, so.
Alrighty. Any other questions? Any other questions? All right, guys. Thank you very kindly for all your time. We need to review the lecture slides and the notes you've taken. The tutorial materials, we're going to go through them now. I want to make sure you guys are doing a lot of good job with that. I needed to go and read chapter 13, please. I needed to make sure you work on the group assignment. And I need to make sure we're going to go and hopefully finish the job on time and the way that it needs to go and really be completed. So thank you very kindly for your time. We're going to have to log out from this link. We're going to now move into the tutorial. I'll see you in a minute in the tutorial, guys. Thank you very much for all your work. And I will tell you about the answer of the head of program in relation to going to KOI to do your assignment and to be able to go and answer all of these Microsoft project assessments. I already confirmed with you, you can go to KOI. You are able to go and make sure that you are going to be working on the assignment and do all of these Microsoft project there. So please make sure you are going to go and use the tool if you can, because that's going to go and create much more value and much better outcome and much better learning for all of you guys. So I highly go and encourage you go and do that. Anyway, let's log out from here and let's go and continue working in the other group and the tutorial. Again, thank you very much for all your work, and I'll see you again very shortly.